In the book Little Voice Mastery, I spend a whole chapter talking about the one little voice issue that really bites us in the shorts almost all the time. It's called procrastination. I'm sure you've never experienced it in your life, or maybe you're just waiting and you're procrastinating, experiencing procrastination. I don't know. But procrastination kills dreams. And there's a reason behind it, and there's a way to get around it. So let's address that one right now, shall we? Let's say this is you, and let's say you have a goal, and your goal is to write a book, to build a business, to have a financial goal, some health issues that you want to overcome, and whatever the case might be. And so you set a goal to get something done. Let's use the book for an example. That's very near and dear to my heart. And I would tell you that if you're watching this, you probably have a book inside of you too, your life experiences. I'm sure there are other people that could benefit from the things that you've learned in your life. And you decide, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to write this book. So when I'm going to do this, I'm going to start tomorrow. Okay, so tomorrow comes, you're set up to go, but you know what? You check your emails and you got a couple of emails you need to answer right away. And somebody just sent you a text message. You're going to address that. You got a couple errands to run, a couple conference calls to do. All kinds of stuff shows up. And you know what? You don't get to it tomorrow. Tomorrow goes and tomorrow now becomes yesterday. Sound familiar? But I'm going to do it tomorrow. Okay, good. So then tomorrow, same thing happens. We got all these errands. We have all these things going on. And so what happens over a period of time, here is what's going on in your head. Somehow or other, think about this for a second. Somehow the goal represents the big you. This is you. It's a reflection of you, your health, your book, your business, your financial future. But what happens is, what you're doing is all these little trivial things over here that are getting in the way become actually more important than you. That's right. You're putting more value on the minutia of life than the you of life, of what it is that you want. Now, I know you're not doing this on purpose, because I don't do it on purpose either. It becomes easier to do because this part over here is a habit, which I'm going to talk about in a second. This part is a habit. It's a distraction. It's even an addiction of some sort. But what happens is it builds what we call a resistance. What's the word, please? Thank you. The word is resistance. It's a resistance to what it is you really want. Now, you're saying to me, Blair, but how can that be resistance? It's still something I want. I'm just putting it off. No, here's what happens. You keep putting it off, so you get really good at procrastinating. You get really good at putting it off. A lot of things come to play, and finally, a few weeks down the road, a gap opens up in your schedule, and you now have the time, you set aside the time to work on the book. And you sit there, and your brain is blank, and you're a little confused, and then this little voice pops in and says, well, who's going to want to listen to your book anyway? What do you got to say? Nobody wants to listen to you. You're not rich enough. You're not successful enough. You have a rah, 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 rah. And then what happens is your energy goes down and you back off. And you say, well, I need to be in a better mood to do it, so I'll do it later. But you know what? Later, the same thing happens. And the more that resistance keeps building up. Now, why is it building up? Why did it say nobody wants to listen to you? Just self-protection. Because it doesn't want you to get upset, doesn't want you to look stupid, doesn't want you to feel failure, whatever the case might be. But procrastination can be devastating. Interestingly enough, the solution? Gratitude exercise, which we covered in the prior chapter. By doing a daily gratitude exercise over yourself every day, all of a sudden you will notice every day your priorities are automatically beginning to shift. Not because you're making them shift, because something's happening inside. You're reprogramming your priorities. You're bringing out the big you and making that the most important thing. This is how we're going to end procrastination.